July. Hello, it's like -o'clock in the morning. I have work in like an hour and a half. My hair is already beginning to freeze up from the humidity of this bathroom, and I'm beginning to sweat off my makeup. So, without any further ado, let's get into this late July check-in. Y'all, July it sure was a month. I don't know why, but lockdown hit me really hard in July in particular, in a way that I really hadn't in the previous months. Winter is usually when like depression rears its head and I like lose days going into weeks to my depression, but I think maybe it's the fact that we're all in lockdown, like I'm not going out every day, I'm not getting exposed to sunlight, I'm not seeing my friends like physically in person. I think that's all like really fucking with my mood. And I think like a lot of you guys can probably relate to that because it's like, I don't think this year is going the way any of us expected it would at the start, but July was like really bad for me. I don't know what happened, like what was the tipping point. I don't know why it was like month 4.5 to 5 of a lockdown that really had me going through it. Maybe it's the fact that it has lasted this long because I have a housemate, but he's like brand new. He moved in this August, and my previous housemate who moved out at the end of July, he was basically quarantining with his girlfriend this entire time, which meant that I saw him like 4 times in the last couple of months. So essentially from mid-March all the way through the end of July, I was basically living alone. And the thing is, I'm a very introverted person. I don't seem like it because I'm not shy, and a lot of people mistake shyness for introversion. So when all of this started back in March, I was like, oh, this is so not gonna be a problem for me. But the thing is, like, even though I'm an introvert, like, I'm also a human being, and human beings are at their core fundamentally social animals, and we are fundamentally, like, physically social animals. We are 5-some months into lockdown, and I have not touched another human being in those entire 5 months. No handshakes, no high fives, no hugs, like nothing. I know there are a lot of people right now who are in lockdown with others in the same house and you're going insane because it's like there's somebody in your space all the time. But I'm having like the reverse problem. I did not realize until basically July how much I relied on like minor physical interactions to like maintain my sanity. I cannot tell you how many times in July and August I would just find myself like crying in the middle of the night and I did not know why. And I say all this not to get like pity points or whatever, because it's like, listen, in the grand scheme of things, like I am doing so much better than so many other people in lockdown right now. Like I had a little bit of a scare where I like genuinely thought I had the Rona for a second, but I got tested, turns out it was negative, and I'm like, that's not the reality for so many people. There are so many people who are actually like sick and dying, and I'm like so privileged right now to be like physically healthy, so to speak. But mentally, all throughout July, I was losing my mind. It's gotten a little bit better in August because we've entered stage 3, so I'm going out a little bit more. I also was able to finally like meet up with my friends in person, and even though none of us touched each other, so I still have not touched another human being in like ages, at least I could like physically see people and know they were there and hang out, and that was like good for me mentally. But in July, I was really fucking going through it, folks. And you know, like one of you guys left a really touching comment on my last video. I read it like ages ago, but I didn't give it a heart because I wanted to like type out a response before I did that. But the comment essentially was like, everything is kind of on fire. We are not supposed to be thriving right now. And on the one hand, that's like comforting and relieving, and I keep repeating that to myself to kind of knock things into perspective and calm myself down. But at the same time, like I have to be honest and say that it sucks to not be thriving because it's been going on for so long. Because it's one thing if you're like not thriving for a couple days or like a couple weeks, but like we're about to enter the 6th month of this. This year is more than halfway over, and the time that passes, like we don't get that back. I understand that on some level I'm like supposed to be struggling, but at the same time it is hard to actually struggle, and it is even harder to accept that I am supposed to be struggling. It's like I can intellectually understand it, but it's like really hard to understand it like viscerally, like in my chest, you know? I don't know, I feel like I have been living like the same 2 days over and over again since March. The 2 days are a day in which I go into work and a day in which I don't go into work. And every single day for the last like 150 odd days that we have been in lockdown has been just like a repeat of those same 2 days. And it really took its toll. Sorry to be like a downer at the start of the video. My first point about my July check-in is July sucked ass. This lockdown sucked ass. I'm not having a good time. I am not doing well. How's that for positivity? Great content to watch. And it was especially exacerbated by seeing all these like influencers and stuff choosing so selfishly to proceed like normal and thrive, so to speak. And then every last one of them would put out just the most mediocre apologies, just some bullshit like, oh, this is like, you know, these are like unprecedented times and I didn't know how to behave properly in these like confusing times. You know, I wasn't super like sure of my behavior and I'm sorry, this was irresponsible of me, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, bitch, this is my first pandemic too. These are unprecedented times for pretty much all of us. What do you mean you didn't know how to behave? The vast majority of us, upon having our pandemic cherries figuratively popped, we figured out how to behave. Like, why is it that I get the privilege of crying in my room 3 nights a week because my mental health is in the toilet and I haven't physically interacted with somebody, while you get the privilege of like going out and partying and hugging people and no mask, just exhaling and sweating over everybody just like without a care in the world? Like, what the fuck, dude? If I'm being like 100% honest, I probably should thank some of those influencers for being total clowns, just complete assholes, because I think at some point I just genuinely started to get angry, and that anger kind of like shook me out of the state of just like apathy and hopelessness that I was existing in throughout July, so that by the time we hit kind of like the first week of August, I was like on a decided upswing. I had also made plans to like meet friends in person. I was taking daily walks outside to get some sun and fresh air. So like, I'm fine now. As fine as one can be in the current situation. Still going like slightly crazy, but it's slight. Now, transitioning more into the world of sort of like makeup and skincare, one of the things that I've had to really confront over the last like month and a half is the bullshit lie I personally have been telling myself about why I wear makeup. And here I want to make it super clear, I'm only talking about me. There are people out there who, when you ask them, you know, like, why do you wear makeup? They will answer, I wear it for myself. And they will mean it 100%. And those tend to be the people who, even in lockdown, even when they're alone, even when they're not going anywhere, they have been regularly wearing makeup. And the thing is, I was always one of those people, which is to say that I was always a person who, when somebody asked me, hey, why do you wear makeup? Especially because I'm like a raw feminist in so many different areas of my life. So my extreme love of makeup and beauty, it seems almost like out of character for me, given how critical I am of patriarchy in so many other areas of my life, right? And I've always given that like cookie cutter standard response of, oh, I wear makeup because I like it. It's empowering to me, I enjoy it, I do it for myself, I don't do it for the male gaze, I don't do it for society, blah, blah, whatever. And lockdown has kind of made me realize that's bullshit. Again, want to emphasize, I'm not saying anybody who's ever said that is like bullshitting you or lying. I'm saying for me personally, that's fucking bullshit. Because if we look at the last 5 months and we discount all of the times I have gotten in front of a camera to film for y'all, and we discount all of the times that I have like gone to meet another person, whether it's because of work or whether it's because I went to go see my friends, right? So if we discount all of my filming and if we discount when I go to meet others, and you were to ask me, hey, Prachi, how many times have you worn makeup since lockdown began in the middle of March, 5 months ago? I can count the number of times on one hand. That is how many times I have worn makeup for myself in the last 5 months. So clearly, all these years that I've been telling myself that I wear makeup only for me, not for other people to look at, not to seem more awake or alert, not to better fit into society's mold of me, not to essentially appear prettier and more put together to others, that was a fucking lie. When I have genuinely been alone, just me, myself, and I, over the past 5 months, I have just not worn makeup. I have not bothered with it at all. And that is really disconcerting to me on some level, right? Because it reveals that I wear makeup as a performance for others, not even really as a performance for myself. Because it would be one thing if I were arguing that I wore makeup as a performance to myself, right? Because it made me feel better, it boosted my self-esteem, it perked me up. But there were like a million times in the last 5 months where I needed my self-esteem boosted, and like makeup was not the thing I was going towards. I don't really know exactly what to make of this observation. It is just a thing I have observed. It turns out that I personally wear makeup a lot more for social approval than I do for myself. Don't really necessarily know what I'm supposed to do with that information. I'm mainly bringing it up as just a point of discussion because it was something that I became like uncomfortably and acutely aware of in July, the month wherein I wore pretty much no makeup at all because I was not filming, and because there was no one there, I did not bother to put any makeup on. And when I stop and think about it, I'm now realizing, like as I'm sitting here filming, that that might be one of the contributing factors, because there were many, like depression, grief, whatever, blah, 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 that has prevented me from releasing so many videos during lockdown. Because everybody else, because they're at home all the time, they're churning out content, but I've just not been able to do it. And I think part of it is the fact that clearly makeup has always been on some level like performative for me, for others. And I think spending so much time just like lonely by myself, not performing for anybody, made it kind of difficult for me to enter the space of performativity that is inherent in applying makeup and filming, right? Because it's not to say that like I'm fake or this is like staged or this isn't like really how I am as a person, that I'm like talking to this camera, to you guys, to this audience in a way which like I would not talk to my own friends and family members. But there is like an obvious and inherent level of performativity in a video. Filming a YouTube video is akin to like going to some sort of social function or party. You cannot bring the like blah, shitty, not on it version of yourself to the table. You gotta bring like the sort of put together, slightly more polished, funnier, sociable version of yourself to the table. Being around other people is on some level a performance. And it was one that I was just too tired to engage in, even when that other person was just a camera in my bathroom. I don't really know. This entire check-in is one of questioning, because I feel like that is just the stage I'm in at the year. That is the stage we are in at life. Like I'm just like hashtag realizing things, but I don't know what I'm supposed to do with those realizations. I don't really know like how I'm supposed to move forward, you know, because July was messy. It was not neat, it was not clean, I don't have solutions for anything. And so I'm just like, you know what, let me bring the mess that was July to the table. Maybe some of y'all can help me parse it out. Maybe you can just listen and be like, Chief, I don't fucking know either, but I feel you. Heart emoji. The last thing that I want to talk about that happened kind of towards the middle/end of July, and this one I actually genuinely want you guys' input on because it has to do with the acquisition of makeup and skincare related stuff. So one of my friends works in the beauty industry, and she just recently left her job for a new position. And this new position is in like a new field, it's in a new space. And so my friend, she did this like massive declutter of her entire makeup collection, which contains a substantial amount of gratis that she gets in her line of work. Is it pronounced gratis? I don't actually know. Whatever, free shit. Y'all know what I'm talking about. So she did this like monster declutter at the end of June, and she sent me a whole bunch of like pictures containing all of the items that she was decluttering, and she was like, hey, does any of it seem interesting to you? And one thing that kind of jumped out at me was the Urban Decay Naked Heat palette. I mentioned in my like May-June check-in that it's the one sort of Urban Decay naked palette that has seemed really appealing to me in terms of its like color scheme, color story, because I'm a very, very warm tone person. Warm tone eyeshadows are neutral eyeshadows to me. So I asked my friend to send her Urban Decay Naked Heat palette. Now, you guys know that I'm currently on what I call Project 2020, which is that I'm allowing myself to buy 20 makeup items in the year 2020. And not just makeup items, but makeup, skincare, hair care, accessories, perfumes, nail polishes. 20 items total across all of those categories. At the end of June, start of July, when my friend had asked me this question, I still had 9 slots available, 9 potential items that I wanted to buy. When my friend like sent me all the photos of all the items she was decluttering, and she was like, hey Prachi, is there stuff that you want? The mindset that I had going into browsing those photos was, which of these things would I actually pay money for? Which of these things would I purchase And which of these things would I be willing to give up one of my 9 slots for? And with that mindset, I made a whole bunch of really hard decisions and I was like, I just want this. And when I get this, even though I didn't buy it, even though it's not like brand spanking new, even though it's given to me by my friend, I'm going to pretend like I purchased it. I'm going to have it count as one of the 20 items I'm allowed to buy myself for fun during 2020. Essentially, after receiving this palette, I would only let myself buy 8 more things for the rest of 2020. Hopefully you guys are with me so far. You guys understand what I'm saying. The thing is, my friend is what I would call overly generous. She's one of the few friends I have with whom I can actually discuss my love of makeup and beauty because she worked in the beauty industry and I really loved makeup. And over the years that we've kind of excitedly discussed makeup and skincare with each other, we've both become acutely aware of each other's like interests and preferences, the kind of looks and vibes and textures that we like to go for. And I think she like couldn't help herself because when I eventually got the package from her in the mail, it didn't just contain this lightly used Urban Decay Naked Heat palette, it contained a whole bunch of other shit too. I'm going to insert here a picture of all of the stuff that she sent me because this is actually not all of it. As you can see, it's like a lot of high-end makeup and a whole bunch of luxury makeup as well. And as I sorted through it, I kind of realized like, oh, the Dior lip balm that she had specifically sent me, 1, it looked completely unused, and 2, it was the exact shade and color that one of my friends in Singapore had been saying for months that she wanted. She'd sent a message into the group chat like 2 months ago being like, hey, if anyone's decluttering like one of these Dior glow bombs in the color raspberry, hit me up, I don't even care if it's used. So once I found that lip balm, I had the idea of kind of just asking around for my friends, like, hey, is there any makeup you guys need? Because I've been gifted, essentially, a whole bunch of makeup and skincare that I'm not necessarily going to use. So after I kind of asked the group chat, I made 2 little care packages, one to go to Singapore, containing not just the Dior lip balm, but also the Innisfree cream that was sent in, because it's a very lightly textured gel cream, which I think would suit my friend who's in Singapore's very hot and humid climate more than it would necessarily suit me. And then because I was also running low on like toners and hyaluronic acid products, I offered some of the skincare that I had very gently used, and she was ecstatic, she really wanted it, she said yes. So I put all of that together in a cute little care package, threw in some like cute BTS postcard situations, and sent that away to Singapore. One of my other friends in the group chat who lives in the US expressed some interest in the Dior lip glosses, and I had unfortunately already used 2 of them, but the third one, which was this like Dior lip maximizer in a berry tone, I hadn't opened, I hadn't touched, and she was more than happy to receive it, so I sent that along with like a mini sample size of a YSL blur primer because she loves YSL everything, to her in New Jersey. A third friend in the group chat, she actually lives in Toronto, I'm meeting her in a couple of days, and she was looking for a new luminous primer. So this pretty much brand new VDL Lumalayer primer that my friend sent me, I'm going to give to her. You know, like I would rather not open it, use it, mess with it or anything. I would rather just give it to her completely untouched because she's gonna get so much more utility out of it. This will be the only primer she has. So by asking my friends if they needed anything and then carefully giving stuff away, I got rid of a couple items. But at the end of it all, I'm still going to have this box of stuff. This is the thing that I'm like not 100% sure what to do with in terms of like how I account for its presence in my life, how I account for its like acquisition in my year, because I was more than ready and willing to count this as a purchase because I would have actually spent money on it. But the other things in here, which actually, let me go over what's in here. There's this Innisfree Intensive Hydrating Serum with green tea seed. I actually don't know what to really do with this because I have one of these. So I bought this in like late 2018. It's in different packaging. It's like halfway used. I don't mind it. It doesn't aggravate my skin or break me out, but it does have, I think, essential oils in here, and I'm trying to move away from using fragrance and essential oils in my skincare because I have started using a retinoid, like tretinoin, which is like prescription strength, and it makes your skin very sensitive. And so although fragrance and essential oils don't bother my skin right now, and so I'm making a concerted effort to use up all of my fragrance skincare instead of just like chucking it in the bin. Moving forward, I want to replace my entire skincare routine with fragrance-free, essential oil-free products. And so I don't really know what to do with this, because it's like I'm already struggling to finish this guy up. I would never have spent my coins on this myself. So this is not a thing I would ever have like used up one of my 20 spots on. Same with this VDL Satin Veil Primer. So my friend sent me two VDL primers, the Lumelayer and the Satin Veil. She also had the Lumelayer Fresh Primer, but those of you who watch my March-April check-in, y'all know I already made the clown decision to buy that myself. I already said I'm giving this to my friend untouched because honestly, I need another primer about as much as I need a hole in my head. Like I literally already bought a VDL primer earlier this year. So I would again never have bought this. And these two products in particular are products that I don't even really have an interest in using. So I think I'm actually gonna set these two aside and see if there actually is somebody in my life who's interested in taking them off my hands without me having like gotten into them at all. Because I have zero interest in these two products, but they are now in my life. The remaining 7 items are all lip products. So we have an Urban Decay gloss in the shade Dirty Talk. We have a Dior lip maximizer in Rosewood. We have a Dior lip glow oil, also in Rosewood. That's what I'm wearing right now. We have 2 of the Urban Decay Vice lip chemistries in the shades Physique and 21. And then we have 3 NARS lipsticks, Dolce Vita, Heat Wave, and Ski Up. And it's these 7 bad boys that are giving me the most pause. Because remember how I said my friend knows me very well? All of these are on some level products that I have discussed with her before as being really intrigued by and kind of wanting to try. Ski Up, Heat Wave, and Dolce Vita are 3 iconic NARS lipstick colors. They're 3 highly popular colors. They're 3 colors I've always been intrigued by. I've always wondered how they would look against my skin tone, but because I only have 20 spots with which to try new things this year, I would literally never have wasted one of my 20 spots on something like NARS Ski Up, because oh my god, like what if that color looks like shit on me? Like what if it's too neon, too vivid, too light, bright white against my skin? But I can't say that I'm like uninterested. Not just these NARS lipsticks, but also the Urban Decay Hi-Fi Shine. This particular color, Dirty Talk, is not necessarily one I've ever been particularly interested in, but my friend knows how much I love that sort of like darker brown Pat McGrath lip gloss, so she was like spot on when she picked out this particular color scheme for me. Similarly, I've been wanting to try these Urban Decay Vice Chemistry lipsticks ever since I saw Hannah Louise Poston review them on her channel, right? And the 2 colors my friend sent, Physique, which is kind of like a neutrally orangey brown, and 21, which is like a red, they are core colors in the Prachi lipstick wardrobe. But again, I don't know that I would actually have used up one of my 20 spots to buy these, right? Especially not 2 of them. And these last 2 products remaining, these Dior products, the Glow Oil, which is what I'm currently wearing on my lips right now, and the Lip Maximizer, both in the color Rosewood, like, yeah, I've like thrown them on around the house, like I've used them a couple times since I got them. I enjoy them. They look pretty, they feel nice, but like, would I ever actually buy these? I don't even know how much these cost. 45 doll hairs? Good fucking buy. You guys, this is $45 and I've just been wearing it like around my house with no other makeup on to like read in my bed. Like what am I? Like a fucking 18th century French aristocrat? Like I should be beheaded for that kind of behavior. $45 and I have been throwing it on like chapstick in the privacy of my own home while wearing sweatpants. I would literally never buy these. I thought I was bougie because I hate to admit it, but I really like the Glossier lip gloss. I also really love that clearance lip oil, and that shit's like $25, $26. And I was like, God, Prachi, like look at your bougie ass in love with a $26 lip oil and a $17 like basically clear lip gloss from Glossier. Like this is peak bourgeoisie, but like this is ludicrous. If I ever start buying $45 lip glosses, I am lost in the sauce. You guys need to wake me up. Anyway, I got sidetracked. But the point is, now that I know how much these cost, literally, I would never. These are nice to have, but I would never actually buy them. And therein kind of lies my dilemma. Like, do I just accept these into my life as like the gift that they were? Do I be really strict with myself and decide that I should only keep the ones that I would like spend money on and then count those items as like my 20 items? Should I do something in the middle? The problem is there's 8 things in here right now. At the start of July, I had 9 spots. I accepted this for sure and I was like, okay, I'm down to 8 spots. If I accept all of these lip products into my collection under the rule that each one I accept takes up a space out of the 20 things I'm allowed to buy this year, then this is it, right? Like, I'm not allowed to buy anything else. And I'm unwilling to do that. I would definitely be like really harsh with myself and not accept a bunch of these if it meant that I had to give up 8 spots. Because there are at least 3 other things that I still want to buy before the year 2020 runs out. And I'm just waiting for the right moments, for the right sales, etc. to pop up, for the right celebratory occasions, etc. to get them. And so I am completely unwilling to let all of these 8 products eat up a spot. And at the same time, I'm like, I have used these. I have put my mouth against them. And these 3 lipsticks I could probably still sanitize and give away, but like giving used glosses to somebody in a pandemic, I'm not that confident, chief. I would literally be throwing it out. And so I don't know what to do. I'm so confused because on the one hand, I'm like, am I really overcomplicating things? Because like part of what I want out of my relationship with beauty is to just like not think so hard about it. You know, I don't want to like obsess over beauty all the time. I don't want to expend too much energy thinking about beauty and specifically about the acquisition of makeup and skincare. And so I'm like, am I just way overthinking it? Is this me like overcomplicating, wasting too much time and energy trying to like parse things out? But then on the other hand, I'm like, the other thing I want out of my relationship with makeup and skincare is to be conscious of what it is I add into my life. And so while this is a hell yes, and these are a hell no, these ones are like kind of a yes. I enjoy using some of these even if I wouldn't have bought them. And because they exist in this like weird liminal space, I'm not really sure what to do. Because these 2 I'm definitely going to try and give away if there is somebody in my life who wants to use them. I don't want to be the kind of person who like gives this to somebody who's genuinely not going to use it or doesn't care about it, because hello, like that just happened to me and now I'm sitting here with like this like weird messed up dilemma trying to figure out what to do with all of this stuff. So it's like I don't want that to happen to somebody else. These in particular, that was my alarm. It means I gotta leave for work in 5 minutes. And so I would like you guys' input, feedback, advice, etc. on what to do with this, on how to approach this philosophically and physically. As for this palette, today is my first time using it because like I said, I have really not been wearing makeup unless absolutely necessary. I really like it. I basically use the mattes to create like a vaguely smoky eye, and then instead of doing the classic traditional black eyeliner, I wet my brush and I use this metallic pinky brown shade as eyeliner. I like what I did, I like the approach, I'm excited to keep on using this, so I will happily concede one of my 20 spots to the acquisition of this palette, even though I technically didn't buy it. Let me know what you guys think I should do with the rest. And feels like it has been a very long video. It also feels a lot less coherent than my other videos, but that's because July was not a very coherent month. August is looking up though, and so on that slightly more positive note, I shall leave you and head to work. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great upcoming week. And even if the rest of your week ends up becoming messy or imperfect, I hope that you're still able to create and experience some truly beautiful moments. Thanks for watching. Bye. These bangs were straight when I started filming. I heat damaged this hair so that it would be straight and look good, but I guess my hair is only ever as straight as I am because this is tragic.